You've tuned in to When Your Mind Becomes the Scene of the Crime podcast. I'm Dr. Linda F. Williams. I take survivors of abuse and trauma from pain to purpose so that you take back your power, tap into the truth of who you are, and live your best life now. Who I want to talk to today is the silent minority in the Me Too movement. There are a lot of men that come across my path that have secrets about sexual assault histories that they've never talked about. And I'm sure that it's shame that makes people not speak their truth or speak their stories. And they're expecting that if they speak up, they'll look weak, or people just won't understand how a man can be raped. But what we have to understand is some of this history is in childhood, and no child is capable in and of themselves of protecting themselves from that kind of thing. And they could have been assaulted by a man or a woman. In some cases, these men have been mistreated by women and sexually assaulted, but they're not speaking up. So I want to speak to the silent minority in the Me Too movement. You men who are out there who are not feeling like you can discuss the stories you think are too true to tell. There are too many of you that think that it's going to make you look weak or sick or whatever if you tell your story. And I'm sure I understand that, because now we have the Me Too movement, and a lot of us women, we're coming out with our stories, right? We're coming out with our stories now. It's giving us critical mass of people that can be supportive to us and understand why maybe we don't remember the incident for many decades, or understand why we kept silent for many decades. I want to challenge anybody that understands from experience the Me Too movement, or understands from loving or knowing someone who's been through sexual assault. I want to challenge your paradigm to the extent that you can apply that compassion to men who have been through the same thing. And as a psychotherapist, I can tell you, not every individual, male or female, who's ever been sexually assaulted or abused as a child grows up to be abusers or assaulters. They just don't. And I'm very happy for the Me Too movement, because that's given women the power to speak their truth. There are so many of us suffering even after the Me Too movement who have still not told our stories. Okay, we still think that those are stories that are too true to tell. But what we do not recognize, male or female, is the stories that you think are too true to tell are the very stories that are the scripts by which we're living our lives. And we think we put it in a closet or on a shelf somewhere and close the door on that part of our lives. But that part of our lives is driving every decision, how we see every situation, circumstance, people, places, things, how we're making decisions in our lives. And I can tell you how it played out in mine. I just was from one unaffirming toxic relationship after another. Yes, I wanted better for myself. Yes, I wanted better. I was praying for better, wishing for better, willing to wait for better, but I kept in this Groundhog's Day cycle of sick and unaffirming relationships. And I began to think there's something innately terribly wrong with me, because I was the only common denominator in all of that. But it took a few years into writing my book for me to realize that I was stuffing a rape that I thought was my fault, that I thought I deserved. And in thinking I deserved it, I made my bed so I needed to lie in it, that I thought I was too ashamed to speak about it. I never told anybody the whole truth about that. If anybody knew I had gone through it at all, they did not have the whole truth, because I thought I deserved it. Now me, Miss Psychotherapist, been through training, gone through school, got the degrees on the whole matter, and I'm not seeing my life playing out in the textbooks that I'm reading. It took me going through a 7-year writing process to be able to cut down and deal with and shed the false responsibility I had, thinking I deserved that. And I want to encourage you, if you've been through anything like that, you're probably in that same cycle of, oh man, I shouldn't have invited them in, which was my issue. I shouldn't have invited him over. Or I shouldn't have put myself in this situation or that situation. And the truth of the matter is, your responsibility in that began and ended with your decision. If you had a decision in the matter, many people don't, but with your decision to allow that person in your life, it ends there. It took somebody to tell me they have to own the wrong they did to you, Linda. Your responsibility in that was with this poor decision. Begin, end, that's all she wrote, the pencil broke. From there on, they own the rape. They own that. That's their bad to bear, not yours. And it was freeing to me because that false sense of responsibility for what I went through was driving me crazy. It was self-loathing personified. And as long as I believed that I was the wrong that man did to me, then that's all I drew in my life, to the extent that I even married a rapist and didn't know it. Okay? All right? It's all about how it's the internal expectations that we have, the internal subconscious expectations that we have that are drawing things into our life. It's why the law of attraction doesn't work for a lot of people. It's why many people in the church are hollering, I decree and declare, and it's making no difference in their lives. Because it's all about the internal stuff that's going on. And trust me, if you think that your story is too true to tell, that is running your life. It's got you with dirty glasses on, and everything you see in life and the decisions you make are being based on that. It's totally repelling what you in your head wish and waiting for and know you on some level deserve. So I wrote the book Too True to tell why this is leading us into stolen vision, why we have to tell our stories, how when we do speak up, it's going to be so empowering, and that we need to push past the fear that we're believing is the lie of our lives. We're believing that lie that that's all there is for us. And I don't care how many CEOs you have been. It doesn't matter how many accolades you got on your wall behind you. It doesn't matter. Because as long as you're not telling that story, it's got a hold on you, and it's got its hand over your mouth, knowing that the minute you speak up, you will be free. So get the book Too True to Tell. I will put the link below, and maybe I'll put a couple of links to a couple of worksheets that'll help you to work through different things that you've been through in your life. Because I've had more than one rape. You know, had the first incident, stuff that wound up, that stuck inside me. I'm living that script without knowing I can rewrite it. So walk me right into another dadgum rape. I can't even tell you. Okay, you have to read the book. I was stuck on stupid, okay? I can laugh about it now because I survived that. But you need to understand that you can do more than survive. From the first incident of rape, sexual assault, we call it nowadays, rape, okay, or sexual abuse, or any kind of trauma that you've experienced. From the moment that first incident occurs, you become the survivor, okay? But in order to thrive, you're gonna have to go through a little striving. So you survive, strive, and thrive. I want to put you on a path to thriving. Because that story doesn't have to be your know-all and be-all. Trust me, I know how scary it is. I didn't even realize till 35 years after the doggone incident that I suffered from PTSD. Okay? Read about it all the time. Learn how to treat it. Know what kind of meds. Da-da-da-da-da. And wasn't even seeing myself on the pages of those textbooks. Okay? So, hey, all I'm asking you to do, just get the book. If you are on Kindle, it's even free to read the book. I'll put the link below. And I'm Dr. Linda F. Williams. Thank you for joining us today for When Your Mind Becomes the Scene of the Crime podcast. To contact Dr. Linda, just go to whosapple.org. That's WHOSE untold.org.